What's good, boxing fans? It's your boy 2K. I'm coming at you with this new segment. It's called the Watch List. Now, basically what the watch list is going to be where I take prospects that aren't being talked about too much, guys that I feel that are real contenders in their respective divisions, and I break them down. I give you information about them, let you know their record, what they're good at, who they fought, who their next fight is, things of that nature, so you can have an idea of who they are when you see them on, ESPN Friday Night Fights or their HBO After Dark or something of that nature, a smaller televised event. You'll know who these guys are. Now, I'm also going to do its counterpart, and I'm going to call that the blacklist, which is basically going to be guys who used to be contenders or who were highly rated prospects and have taken L's, and their careers have pretty much done a turn for the worse, but they're still in the fight game. So for this particular piece, the watch list part 1, I've got 6 fighters that I'm going to break down. So let's get into this. The first guy on my list is going to be Evgeny Gradovich. He is the IBF Featherweight champion. He took that belt from Billy Dibb. Now, he fought Billy Dibb twice. The first time when he took the belt, he took the fight on what I believe is 2 weeks notice. I know it was less than 1 month, but I'm thinking it was 2 weeks notice. Billy Dibb was scheduled to fight someone else. Something happened, an injury, whatever. The guy pulled out of the fight. Gradovich stepped into that guy's shoes, and he beat Billy Dibb by split decision. Now, I'm watching the fight, and I had money on Billy Dibb. And even though I had money on Billy Dibb, I still believe that Gradovich beat Billy Dibb better than a split decision. I would have done it unanimous. Then he fights him again. He fights a guy named, I'm not sure if he had a fight in between there, but he fights him again. Then in the second fight, he knocks Billy Dibb out, just completely dominates him. Pretty much the way that I said that he dominated him in the first fight, but this time he put an exclamation point on it and knocked him out. Now, this guy is similar to Khabib Alagverdiev. If you guys don't really know who that is, he is the former light welterweight WBA champion. He just got robbed by Jesse Vargas. If you guys watch that fight, there's absolutely no way Jesse Vargas beat Alagverdiev. The way Alagverdiev was pretty much got his claim to fame, or little fame anyway, he beat Joan Guzman to a technical decision. Now, if you guys don't know who Joan Guzman is, he was comparable in terms of being ducked, or how many people were ducking him, comparable to Yuriorkis Gamboa. He dominated the game for a while. He was undefeated for a long time. His competition was wasn't really that good. I say C plus class fighters, some B minus fighters. But the reason for that is because he was such a good fighter, a lot of the elite guys were ducking him. And Alagverdiev went in there and beat him to I think it was an 8-round technical decision. He beat him. Gradovich is very similar to this guy. He's very aggressive. His style, though, let me say this first before I get a lot of people talking shit on my video. His style is not just like Manny Pacquiao's, but the way that he's able to throw off a boxer with head movement and body movement, using angles, and in conjunction with non-stop aggression and throwing punches, he's very comparable to Manny Pacquiao in that sense. His volume is very high. If you're a boxer and you're trying to get away from him, just ask Billy Dibb. He smothers you, and it's hard to get away from this guy. I think this guy gives a lot of people problems in the featherweight division. His record is 19-0 with 9 knockouts, pretty decent knockout ratio. He's not knocking guys out out the ring, but he has enough power to keep you to keep you honest. If he hits you with that inside uppercut that he likes to throw, he will keep you honest. So be on the lookout for this guy, Evgeny Gradovich, IBF featherweight champion. Next on the list, we got Sadam Ali, 21-0, 13 knockouts. Now, he just beat Luis Carlos Abregu last Saturday. Now, I was shocked by Kovalev beating Bernard Hopkins. And if you guys watched my earlier video, I had Bernard Hopkins beating Kovalev rather easily in that fight, right? But I was more shocked by this fight because Sadam Ali, I know who he was. I've watched some of his fights. He does this thing out in the Northeast area. He was not the guy that I believe would dominate a guy like Luis Carlos Abregu. Abregu is very comparable to a Lucas Matisse. He's a boxer puncher, and he looks like he's a slugger, right? He looks like he wants to go in there and just, take 15 hits to land one like a Brandon Rios. He's not that kind of fighter. He's a very smart fighter. He knows how to throw the right punches at the right time. That's how he beat the other prospect who, actually, if I would have started doing these videos a year ago, he would have been on my watch list, and that was Thomas Delorme. He beat that guy with effective punching. I mean, Luis Carlos Abregu is a smart guy. If you watch this fight and this is the first time you saw Abregu, please don't let this the first time you've seen him fight, this particular fight, be the determining factor on whether or not you think he's a scrub. This dude is not a scrub. He's a very smart boxer. That's why Sadam Ali catapulted from being just a prospect fighting in his area to now everyone's talking about him. That Abregu was a guy, the only loss he had was to an elite fighter in Timothy Bradley. So, very, very impressive win by Sadam Ali. He's smart. He has fast hands. He has a powerful right cross. That's the punch that landed, that knocked Abregu down twice. He has ability to adapt. The only criticism I have is when he was trying to get away from Abregu. Now, Abregu had turned the fight on in the second half of the fight. He was trying to get away from Abregu, and Abregu was still able to hit him. You catch Sadam Ali against the ropes, and Abregu would land, like a right or left hook. He would land those punches. Now, my thing is this. If you're dominating the fight, right, and you have a feeling that you're dominating the fight to the point where you think that you can just move around the ring and you can still get the 12-round decision, 10-round decision, however long it's going, well, you don't want to get caught by a guy who's just hunting you, trying to knock you out, because he knows you're dominating the fight. So Abregu, who is a smart boxer puncher, Sadam Ali dominated him to the point where Abregu felt that all he had to do, or all he could do at that point, was try to land a big bomb and knock him out, or at least get some knockdowns so the margin of victory can be lessened, can be shortened. Well, if that's the case, then you got to be smarter as the boxer or the guy who's trying to get away from being knocked out. You got to be smart. Keep your hands up. Use the ring. Keep your hands up. Don't get caught. Well, Sadam Ali was getting hit. And I think that's a testament to his stamina. I think he was getting tired. But then again, in the second half of the fight, I can't remember what round, Abregu was coming forward. I think it might have been the last round or 11th round. I'm not sure. Don't quote me. But Abregu was coming forward, trying to knock him out. And he landed that right cross again. He actually waited. Abregu threw a left hook, and he kept his hands down. Sadam Ali used the ropes to pretty much weave that punch. Came back with the right cross, knocked him down. Beautiful punch. Beautiful punch. I can't wait to see him fight more elite fighters. Dominating Abregu is a big accomplishment. The one thing that puzzled me was that he struggled against Jeremy Bryant in his last fight. So I hope that he can keep this momentum going forward. He's not, basically seeing him struggle against Jeremy Bryant and then beating a world-class fighter in Carlos Abregu, that tells me that he can be inconsistent. Hopefully he can keep this consistency going forward. Let's move to the next guy. And that's going to be Bryant Jennings. Heavyweight, 19-0, 10 knockouts. Now, this is what I call a multi-purpose fighter. Very versatile. He can fight you on the inside. He can step out, fight you on the outside, use the jab, use the 1-2 combination, go on the inside, hit you with uppercuts, hooks. Very, very talented heavyweight. His last fight, he beat another very talented heavyweight by split decision, and it was Mike Perez. And he was also undefeated. And Mike Perez was a highly rated prospect. He was from the Cuban school of boxing. So a lot of eyes were on him to move up the rankings and possibly be the guy to give the Klitschko's problems in the future. But Bryant Jennings went in there and stopped that. Now, I had Bryant Jennings winning this fight. I won some money off that fight. So I had him winning this fight. But I feel that Bryant Jennings might be the fighter that people duck, because he's he's very versatile. A lot of people don't know how to adapt to that in the heavyweight division. If you look at heavyweights, they're just standstill type guys, and you know they're plotting, their feet are planted. You know, Bryant Jennings isn't one of those guys. He actually moves around. So a lot of heavyweights are not going to be too quick to fight this guy. And he has respectable power on top of that if he lands his punches. I believe that if he ever were to fight Bermane Stiverne, I believe he beats Bermane Stiverne simply because Stiverne, he plants his feet. And I really do like Stiverne. Stiverne reminds me of a heavyweight Floyd Mayweather. He's a defensive guy, uses the ropes. He'll lean on the ropes with that shoulder roll style, and he likes to counter you. Only problem is he gonna stay in that spot because he don't have no footwork. He's stagnant in the ring. So I believe that with Bryant Jennings' versatility, he would be able to beat Bermane Stiverne. Now the fight I really want to see is Bermane Stiverne versus Deontay Wilder. I'm not too high on Deontay Wilder. It's impressive that I think his record's 32-0, 32 knockouts. That's very impressive. I don't give a fuck who you're fighting. That's still impressive. But I think Bryant Jennings has the tools to beat this guy. The only thing I don't know is if Bryant Jennings can take that right cross that Deontay Wilder delivers to knock out all of his opponents. If he lands that on Bryant Jennings and Bryant Jennings is still standing, I believe Bryant Jennings beats him. So be on the lookout for this guy. The heavyweight division is heating up, and this guy is one of the prospects that's making it very interesting to watch again. So let's move to the next guy. We got Nicholas Walters, bottom left corner. 25-0, 21 knockouts. Now, the whole boxing world had to have seen, if you're a real boxing fan, then you watched his complete dismantling of Nonito Donaire. You watched it. You watched it live. That was an excellent fight. I had Nicholas Walters winning that fight as well. He was also the favorite in the odds. The odds makers had him as a favorite. This guy is he's another very versatile fighter, and he's an excellent combo puncher. He uses the devastating uppercut on the inside. That was the first punch that knocked Nonito Donaire down. He can box from the inside. He can box from the outside. I think his defense can be a little bit better. At the end of that second round, Nonito Donaire caught him with his famous left hook, and he pretty much made Nicholas Walters do the stanky leg a little bit. I think when he's hunting, his defense is a little he can be caught when he's hunting. But if he's not hunting, if he's boxing from the outside, or if he's on the inside muscling you around, man, he's a very good fighter. I would love to see him fight Guillermo Rigondeaux. I would love to see that fight. I'd pay for that fight. Now I'm hearing around the YTBC that Nicholas Walters does not want to fight Guillermo Rigondeaux because he doesn't, produce ratings, which is complete bullshit. I hope he's not saying that. I haven't actually heard it from Nicholas Walters' mouth, so I'm hoping that he's not saying it. But yeah, being the WBA Super World Featherweight Champion, he's gonna get some fights, man. I would actually like to see him fight Santa Cruz. I would like to see him fight Santa Cruz. I think he beats the shit out of Santa Cruz. It'd be a good fight, but I think he beats the shit out of Santa Cruz. As soon as Santa Cruz steps up, that is. That's a whole nother topic. Let's move to the next guy. And so, coming up next, we got the twins, the Charlo brothers. The first one I got listed is Jermall Charlo. He's the heavier punching guy. He's 19-0, 15 knockouts. Now the Charlo brothers, based out of Houston, Texas, not too far from me. This guy here, man, or these brothers, these guys are going to make a statement, if they already have not, at the 154-pound division. I don't see Canelo raising his hand to try to fight these guys anytime soon. I don't see anybody coming down like a Peter Quillen or Gennady Golovkin coming down to 154 at some type of catch weight, raising their hand to try to fight these guys. You know, the guys that are most like the fighters that are the most silent in the media, they're dominating, but they're the most silent. These are the guys you got to watch out for. These are the guys that the boxing world sees and they don't want no fucking part of. And on top of this, these guys are Al Heyman fighters. So, I mean, Al Heyman is very respected in the sport. So, if you're fighting these guys, you don't dominate his fighters, possibility you're gonna lose. I mean, look at the Mickey Bay Miguel Vasquez fight, which is complete bullshit in my opinion as well. Mickey Bay got beat by Miguel Vasquez, but since I believe Mickey Bay is an Al Heyman fighter, but if he's not, he's with Mayweather Promotions, who's also a respected entity in boxing. They gave him the win. So, you know, people aren't going to be, you know, volunteering to fight these guys. But let's go ahead and break them down individually. So, Jermall Charlo, 19-0, 15 knockouts. He's 6 foot with a 73.5 reach advantage. Now, he's the harder hitter. So a lot of people like to say he's the better fighter, the better of the two brothers. I disagree with that. Jermell Charlo is more technical. He's very smart fighter, very smart counterpuncher. Jermall is he's technical, but he's not as technical. I mean, he's going to use his range, but he gets on the inside as well, and that's where a lot of his knockouts come from. And he also has a decent resume. I mean, he beat Antoine Smith, and he beat Orlando Lara. I believe Orlando Lara was a Golden Boy fighter at one time. Don't quote me. I believe he was, though. He was highly rated at one point, and you know, Jermall Charlo went in there and beat him pretty easily. You know, he has a decent resume. I really like him, though. I would like to see him fight the elite fighters at 154. I actually would like to see Jermall Charlo fight Canelo, if possible. If Canelo, you know, were to take that fight, I would like to see him fight Canelo. I would not want to see Jermell fight Canelo because I believe Jermell wins that fight rather easily. I'm talking almost 12 rounds to none. You know, that wouldn't happen. My scorecard would probably say that, but given the star power that Canelo has, that probably wouldn't happen. It'd probably be another bullshit ass decision for Canelo, like what he got over Arislandi Lara, or you know, it'd be like some type of split decision, majority decision bullshit, something like that. But the real fight would be Jermall and Canelo, simply because of Jermall's punching power. If Canelo doesn't up that defense, he could possibly get knocked out in that fight, or he could also outbox Jermall Charlo, possibly. I'm not saying he can do it, or I'm not saying he could do it. It's a possibility that he can do it. But that would be a good fight I would like to see. Jermell Charlo, he's an inch shorter than his brother, but he has a 0.5 decrease in reach advantage as well. But this guy, he's the one that actually uses his reach more. He's more technical. He has a better resume. He dominated Gabe Rosado. I haven't seen anybody dominate Gabriel Rosado except Gennady Golovkin. But Gabe Rosado was moving up in weight, going up to 160, where he does not fight at 160. He went to Golovkin's weight, fought a power puncher who's knocking out 160-pounders. So you got a smaller guy going up there fighting a power puncher. So that's why he got dominated by him. But Jermell actually dominated Gabe Rosado within Gabe Rosado's weight division. Even Jayleon Love couldn't do that. And actually in that fight, I bet on Jayleon Love, so I won money. But I had Gabriel Rosado beating Jalen Love on my scorecard. But Jermell Charlo, he dominates Gabe Rosado. There's another guy that nobody really talks about, but he's not good enough to be on the watch list, and that's Demetrius Hopkins. He is the nephew of Bernard Hopkins. Demetrius Hopkins is a rugged, very tough Philadelphia fighter. His only loss was by split decision to Kendall Holt, and he lost to another prospect who I don't think is good enough to be on this part of the watch list. I still need to see some more things from him. His name is Brad Sullivan. He lost to him as well. But Demetrius Hopkins, man, great chin. He has good defense. He can smother you. He can keep you guessing. Very good fighter. Jermell Charlo dominated him. So this dude is the real deal. He's the better of the two brothers, in my opinion. He's the real deal. Now, man, I'm licking my fucking chops for his next fight. Now I've heard that the fight might not happen. I'm hoping to God that it's bullshit, that it does happen. And that's his next fight on the undercard of the Amir Khan Devin Alexander fight against Boo Boo Demetrius Andrade. Man, that is a fucking spectacular matchup. That fight right there, if it happens, that is going to be an excellent fight for the sport of boxing. I mean, this right here is what boxing is supposed to be made of. Two of the best fighters in one division, undefeated. Both guys are undefeated, going against each other to see who is the best. Now, in my opinion, out of these two fighters, if they fought, whoever wins this fight is at least number one in the 154-pound division. I'm not talking about the champion. I mean, I think, Demetrius Andrade has the WBO belt, I believe, in that division. So, either one, whoever wins, they will be a champion, but they will be the number one fighter at that weight division. Better than Canelo, better than Lauda, better than, who's in that division? Old dude that just won the belt, just beat, what's his name? Old guy, 40-year-old guy. I can't think of his name right now. I'm going blank. But, yeah, the 40-year-old guy that just won the belt, better than him. I mean, these guys, the winner of this fight will be the number one guy at 154. And I believe they deserve that title because they stepped up to fight one another. Now, I'm hearing Demetrius Andrade is not really interested in this fight. He doesn't really want to do it. Hopefully, man, he doesn't duck this guy. Hopefully he doesn't duck him. And I'm hearing, shout out to Dante. He had a radio show with Ego and Arab King on there where he's talking about Demetrius is basically saying that, possibly saying, I think it was opinionated on the show, but they were saying that he's probably not too keen on fighting either the Charlo brothers because they're Al Haymon fighters and he can be robbed. I mean, I understand, but this is boxing. It's like saying it's equivalent to saying, oh man, I don't want to fight these guys, I'm just gonna lose before the fight, and then you go in there. You know what I'm saying? So who the fuck goes into a fight, whether it be a street fight, MMA, boxing? You're not supposed to go into the fight thinking you're gonna fucking lose the fight. You know what I'm saying? Or you will lose the fight. So I hope he gets his spirits up. It sounds like he's a little depressed about trying to fight the Charlo brothers. Hopefully he's not. Hopefully all this is bullshit because the fight is still on the ticket the last time I looked at it. So hopefully it goes down. And man, I cannot wait. I believe the date of that is December 9th. I could be wrong. Don't quote me. But yeah, look for the breakdown of the Amir Khan Devin Alexander fight. I'm not going to do it just yet. I'm going to wait a little bit closer to fight time. That fight, I can't fucking wait to break down. I'm over here rubbing my hands and shit and licking my fingers. I cannot wait to break that fucking fight down. Also, be on the lookout for a couple more videos I'm doing. I want to do a video of a fantasy matchup between Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson and why, I would pick, the winner out of that fight. So be on the lookout for more videos. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Do what you do, fans, under the video, but be real. This is real talk for real fans. 1.